What if I told you that cars once worth $80,000 are now being offered for less than the price of a used Civic? Those vehicles once considered the pride of luxury showrooms are now collecting dust on dealer lots, unsellable, unwanted, and worth less than the scrap metal they're made from. It sounds dramatic, but it's not fiction. It's the brutal reality of the car market in 2025. And the worst part? The freefall isn't over. Some models are about to hit values so low that even dealers are refusing to take them on trade. I've tracked depreciation data on hundreds of vehicles, and what I've found is shocking. Cars that were status symbols just a few years ago are now money pits that nobody wants. Electrical issues, tech glitches, maintenance costs, brand collapses, you name it. And when we get to number 1 on this list, you'll see why some luxury owners would have been better off setting their money on fire. Let's dive in, starting with a so-called American crossover that was doomed before it even hit the road. The Dodge Hornet was supposed to be the rebirth of American muscle in a compact body. But what we got instead was a rebadged Italian crossover that confused everyone, from Dodge fans to dealership staff. Dodge hyped the Hornet as their answer to the modern SUV craze. Aggressive styling, turbocharged engine, and the promise of a performance punch. But when buyers got behind the wheel, they realized something was off. Literally, the Hornet wasn't American muscle. It was an Alfa Romeo Tonale in disguise. That alone would have been fine if it performed well, but it didn't. Build quality issues showed up before the ink on the warranty paperwork dried. Electrical gremlins, failing infotainment screens, glitchy software that froze in traffic. It was chaos. Some owners couldn't even sell their Hornets for half of what they paid just a year earlier. And here's where it gets worse. Because it shares components with Alfa Romeo, parts take forever to arrive. Dealers don't stock them because, frankly, no one is buying these cars. The Hornet became the symbol of what happens when badge engineering goes completely wrong. But Dodge wasn't alone in this fiasco. Its Italian twin, the Alfa Romeo Tonale, suffered the exact same fate. Owners reported their digital gauge clusters going black at highway speeds, hybrid systems failing, and service departments overloaded. These cars were supposed to combine Italian flair with American reliability, but they ended up combining Italian problems with American disappointment. If you bought one of these, congratulations. You've owned one of the fastest depreciating cars in America. But this isn't just about bad engineering. Some vehicles are doomed for a different reason. They belong to body styles the market has already buried. Wagons once ruled American roads. Today, they're relics. The Volvo 560 is a perfect example. A beautiful, well-built Swedish estate that's become nearly worthless on the used market. It loses over 55% of its value in 5 years, and that's if you're lucky. The reason? Nobody wants wagons anymore. Americans want crossovers, SUVs, trucks, anything but something that looks remotely practical. Even worse, the V60 comes with brutal maintenance costs. The suspension wears out early, the all-wheel drive system fails before 60,000 miles, and the parts prices make your wallet cry. Mechanics joke that owning one is like paying rent to Volvo. And if you thought things couldn't get worse for slow-selling body styles, meet the Lincoln Nautilus. Once upon a time, Lincoln was America's luxury icon. Now, the Nautilus proves that prestige doesn't guarantee survival. It's basically a Ford Edge in a tuxedo. Same platform, same parts, but double the price. Buyers noticed immediately. Within 3 years, most Nautilus models lose nearly 60% of their value. One customer even had a transmission fail before hitting 45,000 miles, and Lincoln refused the warranty claim on a technicality. These cars live in resale purgatory. Too expensive for mainstream buyers, not luxurious enough for premium shoppers. The result? Dealers can't give them away. But this next group proves that even when the badge says luxury, depreciation can still hit like a wrecking ball. Luxury isn't always forever, especially when the tech inside feels like it's stuck in 2011. Take the Infiniti QX80. Once marketed as the ultimate family luxury SUV, it's now a dinosaur trying to survive in the modern jungle. The design hasn't changed in over a decade, the fuel economy is horrific, and the tech belongs in a museum. It drinks fuel like a private jet, 14 miles per gallon if you're lucky. With gas prices the way they are, that's over $400 a month just in fuel, and when it breaks, it really breaks. I've seen repair bills hit $8,000 for powertrain failures alone. Dealers offer next to nothing on trade because they know used buyers run from these like the plague. Then there's the Audi Q7, a gorgeous SUV with one fatal flaw. It's a ticking time bomb. Audi nailed the comfort with its air suspension, but that very system is its downfall. Around 60,000 miles, the air suspension starts leaking, and it costs $2,000 per corner to fix. And the issues don't stop there. Electrical systems corrode, infotainment fails, and the engine demands premium fuel that costs hundreds more each year. Even wealthy owners are walking away rather than repairing them. Prestige used to protect resale value. Today, it's meaningless. Because if maintaining a luxury car costs more than a mortgage, buyers simply walk. But what happens when the future itself, electric vehicles, start collapsing in value even faster? The electric revolution promised to save the planet and your wallet. Instead, it's been a depreciation disaster. The Polestar 2 was hyped as the Tesla killer. Instead, it's just another victim of EV overpricing. It loses around 50% of its value in 4 years, thanks to a disappointing range and poor build quality. Real-world range, 180 miles on a cold day. And early owners dealt with sunshades falling, dashboards cracking, and software updates that bricked the infotainment for weeks. The Tesla Model S, once the king of EVs, is now in freefall. It depreciates 65% in 5 years. And not because it's bad, but because Tesla keeps undercutting it with cheaper, newer models that perform better. Why buy a used Model S when a new Model 3 or Y offers the same speed, better tech, and a full warranty? Then there's Ford's Mustang Mach-E, a car that angered its own fans. The name alone caused chaos. Mustang purists were furious when Ford slapped the badge on an electric crossover, and the market agreed. It depreciated nearly 46% in 3 years. Leaking door seals, cracked panoramic roofs, rattling interiors, and a brand identity crisis that alienated everyone. The EV sector is brutal. One wrong move, and your $70,000 purchase turns into a $30,000 regret. But don't think gasoline luxury is safe, because the next section proves that some of the most prestigious European cars are falling even faster. Let's be honest, owning a European luxury car sounds amazing, until the repair bills hit. The Range Rover is legendary for its design, comfort, and being broken. It loses 60% of its value in 5 years and constantly ranks near the bottom of reliability charts. Electrical systems fail, air suspension leaks, timing chains rattle, and repairs regularly hit $8,000 or more. I once saw a Range Rover that needed a new engine at 35,000 miles. The replacement failed at 62,000. Then there's Maserati Ghibli, a name that used to turn heads but now makes buyers nervous. 70 grand new, 23 grand used. That's not depreciation, that's annihilation. Oil consumption issues, expensive brakes, turbocharger failures, and 5-month waits for parts from Italy. And the BMW 7 Series? A masterpiece of over-engineering that destroys its own resale value. The electronics are so complex that one failing module can disable half the car. The air suspension costs 10 grand to rebuild, and the polarizing design of the E65 generation made things even worse. These cars lose up to 70% of their value in 5 years. Luxury means nothing if reliability doesn't back it up. And right now, even futuristic cars, the ones meant to replace all of these, are starting to fall apart faster than anyone expected. Electric trucks were supposed to be the future. Instead, they've become some of the fastest depreciating vehicles in history. Take the Rivian R1T, the adventure truck that was supposed to redefine the segment. It started strong, futuristic looks, 300-plus mile range, amazing off-road ability, but reality hit hard. Range drops to 200 miles in real use, and if you tow anything, try 100 miles on a full charge. Add to that a lack of charging stations in remote areas, $28,000 battery replacement quotes, and slow parts availability. Some owners have resorted to selling theirs for less than half what they paid just 3 years ago. Then there's the Jaguar I-Pace, one of the earliest electric luxury SUVs, and one of the worst investments ever made. It depreciates by 72% in 5 years. Range drops dramatically with age, batteries degrade quickly, and replacement costs exceed the car's resale value. Dealers don't even want them on trade because they can't resell them without losing money. And finally, the Tesla Cybertruck, the most controversial vehicle of the decade. It depreciated 37% in its first year. That's the fastest first-year drop in modern automotive history. Panel gaps big enough to fit your fingers, stainless steel that shows every fingerprint, malfunctioning covers, and repair parts that take months to arrive. These were supposed to represent progress. Instead, they became high-tech paperweights. But even these disasters don't compare to what's happening in the world of high-end sedans. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class used to be the gold standard, the dream car that everyone aspired to. But now, it's a nightmare to own. 70% depreciation in 5 years, air suspension that fails around 70,000 miles, costing $15,000 to replace, electronics that age like milk, and software systems that become obsolete faster than smartphones. One owner bought an S-Class for $125,000 brand new. 18 months later, he had spent $16,000 in repairs, and the car was worth $28,000. That's financial insanity. And then we have Jaguar XF, the definition of brand collapse. Once seen as a British luxury alternative to BMW and Mercedes, it's now practically worthless. Electrical failures, infotainment glitches, failing turbos, and endless waiting times for parts. The resale value? 3-year-old XFs can be found for under $18,000. Jaguar's entire identity problem, unreliable, overpriced, undersupported, has turned their cars into liabilities. If Jaguar exits the US market, those cars will become worthless overnight. Dealers already treat them like toxic assets. But here's where the story twists, because not everything is doom and gloom. Some cars hold their value, and they all share one thing in common. For every depreciation disaster, there's a hidden gem on the opposite end. Vehicles that actually gain value or hold strong even after years on the road. Models like the Toyota Tacoma, 4Runner, and Lexus X have built reputations for reliability so strong that buyers fight over used ones. Some sell for more than they did new. Why? Because they last. They're simple, proven, and don't depend on fragile tech. The used car market is no longer just about prestige or performance. It's about trust. People want vehicles that don't strand them, don't bankrupt them, and don't lose 60% of their value by year 5. So while some owners are watching their luxury cars turn into scrap value, others are quietly making money on vehicles built for the long run. The lesson? Skip the hype, skip the badge, buy reliability, not reputation. Because in 2026, the cars that survive won't be the ones with the fanciest screens or loudest badges. They'll be the ones that simply work. And if you think this list was brutal, wait until you see the next one. 13 cars that are actually going up in value right now. Some of them will shock you. So hit that subscribe button, and I'll show you which cars could actually make you money while everyone else watches theirs turn to dust. The car market is ruthless, unpredictable, and full of traps. But knowledge? That's your best defense. Because in the end, what you don't buy could save you thousands. And trust me, after seeing this list, you'll think twice before signing that next dealership contract.